Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Natada and Liquid Huck here on Lost Temple. Natada spawning at the 8 o'clock position as the blue Terran player. Meanwhile, we have Liquid Huck spawning at the 12 o'clock location as the red Protoss. So Protoss versus Terran once again, this time on Lost Temple. Hopefully this will be a great game. You know, Liquid Huck and Natada, both two very well-known players. Natada, I believe, more known for StarCraft 1, obviously. Huck just making a really strong showing recently in a lot of replays that have been released, and hopefully this game will turn out well. We do see Liquid Huck going down and setting down a 9 pylon and will be able to continue to train up probes very easily. And Liquid Huck asks fake, and I believe Natada is going to say no, and we'll see what exactly happens here. So Natada now setting up setting up his own barracks as well in order to just try to, you know, continue to train up more SCVs as well. So yeah, you guys can read the comments. I will go ahead and just continue to cast this game. This is going to be ally spawn. So this one Xel'Naga watchtower will become very important, as you will be able to see any ground units walking out from this particular location, and also see many of the air units if you try to go take a direct path. So Liquid Huck now moving out with this one probe, and now this probe on its way out, moving out, and Liquid Huck asking, I know the real Natada, and that is why he's asking. Oh, and the probe was able to activate the Xel'Naga watchtower and should have seen that there was an SCV right there. Not exactly sure why he did not try to activate that Xel'Naga watchtower, activating this one now, and now going across the map. So it's going to be quite some time before Huck realizes that he is not at this location here. We do see an assimilator, a gateway, and another pylon currently being warped in, as this one probe now gonna walk all the way back over here to try to come up this ramp. But a marine should be trained, or about 2/3 of the way trained, by the time that one probe does walk up that ramp. SCV now just wandering around inside, does see a cybernetics core now being placed down by Huck. Huck obviously going that standard tech route, as we now have a marine about 2/3 of the way trained, as this marine will be able to come out and try to start harassing that probe. The probe does outrun the marine just a little bit, but that marine with a range of 5 will be able to cut a little bit better corners if it is microed, but it is not being microed, as a second marine now currently being trained as well. I believe the probe will be able to escape just in time, perhaps running around that curve. Yeah, just being able to just hug that corner and now get the heck out of there. We now see a tech lab being placed down, in addition to a second barracks as well. And I guess this is not the real Natada. So Natada did not say that it is in fact the real Natada. And Huck obviously knowing the real Natada. Zealot now trying to catch up to that one SCV. SCV able to get the heck out of there as well, as an SCV does have a little bit of a faster movement than one of those Zealots back behind here. And now a Zealot coming out to engage, activating this Xel'Naga watchtower. Is this one probe? Zealot still trying to give chase towards that SCV. SCV, however, will be able to continue to walk on out, as a Stalker is now on the move. So an early Stalker now on the move. But we now have a Reaper currently being trained. So not training a Reaper, training a unit that many players just think is completely, absolutely not useful any longer, just because of all of the recent nerfs to it. You can see that the Reaper is now currently sitting here. Perhaps the Reaper can only take one spot in a bunker. That would give him a little bit of a better use in order to try to defend against any early Zealot harassment. But I don't think Blizzard will be doing that anytime soon. One Reaper now on the move, trying to deal some damage towards that Zealot. Zealot, now is it going to jump up onto the high ground? If it just jumps up onto that high ground, it should be fine. There it goes. Jumps up onto the high ground, dealing damage towards that Zealot. Could easily take down that probe. Probe now going to get taken down as well. And down it goes. However, a sentry now coming in. So the probe, so the one Reaper wants to be able to get some damage across, and now jumps off onto the high ground here, and perhaps we'll try to go after some of those probes over here. But we do see that the Reaper, excuse me, as I seem to be fighting a cold, that one Reaper just wandering around the map. We do see one Stalker, and that Stalker will be able to get 2 shots very easily, and down goes the Reaper. Okay, so the Reaper harassment did not come into play. We do see a Nexus now being warped in here at the natural expansion, and more sentries being trained. So Huck opening up with a lot of sentries, enabling him to get more and more minerals, and then save it up for a stronger Nexus, or sorry, save up for a Nexus. I don't know how a Nexus can possibly be stronger. Apparently, I seem to be word salading a little bit too much right now, and I'll try to slow down my slow down my talking as perhaps I'm trying to fight off a head cold. So currently we now see Liquid Huck running off of a 4-gate, 2 warp gates, cybernetics core is down, and we also see a robotics facility. So a 4-gate with a robo facility running off of 2 bases eventually. If you take a look at the harvester count, 30 harvesters currently coming in for Huck compared to Nada's only 25 harvesters, and he does not have a mule, as I believe he called down or he used a scanner sweep. There is some stalkers and some sentries as well, and one of the things I would like to see is if this force field is able to come down here. Oh, not getting the force field down right on that ramp. I think if that force field was on that ramp, that would have been absolutely perfect, blocking any chance of a retreat. And then Huck would have just easily taken this game, as he would have been able to contain his opponent for quite some time, as all we see currently coming out from Nada is 2 racks, 1 training Ghost, and now also double training up some Marines as well. So Ghost and Marines, you can see that Nada should be able to get even more minerals very, very easily. The Ghost Academy all the way here to the south, and now finally going for a factory. I believe he can support 1 additional barracks with a tech lab, but he should also be trying to expand at some point, as now we see Liquid Huck nearly in saturation on this natural expansion over here. Yes, 17 or 18 probes on the natural expansion here, and a decent number of probes here as well. Huck sitting on 42 and simply will be able to just attack, move into this army if he gets a strong enough macro army in play. We do see a factory coming in, and now another barracks coming in as well. So it is going to be 2 barracks, and now the Marines are trying to make their way over and perhaps try to shoot down this one observer. Observer now should be on the move in just a moment. There we go, Marines just moving around. And now, wait for it, scanner sweep, there we go, down goes that observer. So Huck no longer is able to see inside that base, but a fresh observer now coming in once again will be able to see this expansion and see everything that's currently happening. And now Nada very, very much behind. It seems as though Liquid Huck is just causing and forcing Nada to constantly scanner sweep, and by constantly scanner sweeping, his mineral count is nowhere near as high as he wants it to be. Unable to really just constantly train up more Marines. No Hellions have been coming out from this factory. We do have a reactor coming in though, and now finally going for a command center, or looking as though it wants to go for a command center. His economic game is just too far behind. 49 harvesters compared to 31, and now we see a robotics facility coming in as well. So with that robotics facility coming in from Huck with Colossi should be able to easily handle this infantry, marauder, marine army, especially as this reactor is now being placed down. We do see 1 starport currently trying to train up a medevac. We should see a swap in just a little bit in order to double train medevacs as well, but Nada really behind on minerals just because of constantly trying to take down more of those more of those observers. Gonna go ahead and rewind this fight here to show it to you guys. We now see the Marines and the Marauders moving out, an observer coming in as well, doing a quick scanner sweep into this location here. Stalkers, in comes an EMP shockwave, dealing a lot of damage across all the shields here to the north, and now it looks as though Nada doing a really, really good job just cleaning up many of these units. We do have a couple of Stalkers and Sentries coming in from this side as well, but no Guardian Shield, and the Marauders and the Marines will be able to finish these Stalkers off very, very easily. And now Nada is sitting on a very, very large army lead, sitting at what, 1100 versus 550. Huck is going to have to be careful here if he wants to be able to fight this off, but with 1 Colossus, that Colossus should be able to deal a lot of damage very, very easily. Now this Colossus down over here, there are going to be some high ground cannons, and those photon cannons are quickly canceled. In comes this Colossus. Colossus now coming in, trying to focus fire down that Colossus. Down it goes. So Marines and Marauders doing a great job with medevac support. Now trying to pull back probes off the mineral line, trying to soak up some of that damage from those Marauders. We do see a couple of Stalkers able to take down that 1 medevac. And now this Marine and Marauder army not nearly as strong as they continue to give chase. The Marauders do have the concussive shells. They obviously have stim pack due to that fast movement. And those Marauders and Marines just trying to constantly fight back. Harvester count, if you take a look at the unit count, down to 42 harvesters compared to 29, and that is still a very strong economic lead. Liquid Huck has the economic advantage, and if Nada is able to, however, push with his army advantage, he may be able to get back into this game. Army-wise, 1350 versus 1400, that 1 Colossus, they're able to get off a couple quick Marine kills there, slicing down many of those Marauders and more of those Marines. And now Nada once again a little bit, or just a little bit ahead so far. We do see some medevacs finally coming in, and now a factory trying to offer some additional sight. We do see 1 observer coming in as well, and finally no expansion attempt coming in from Nada. So Nada being resigning to 1 base play as he's unable to just keep up with the macro of Huck. Huck has such a strong economic lead that I'm not sure how exactly Natada will be able to get back into this. Marauders and Marines on that low ground production-wise. Level 1 weapons upgrade nearing completion. Another Colossus being trained. This Colossus does have the extended thermal lance range, so range of 9 compared to a range of 6 and a range of 5, plus that splash damage from those Colossus. Even with about 4 or 5 Marauders, I believe these Colossi will be able to finish off those Marauders and those Marines relatively easily. We need to see some we need to see some Vikings in addition to these Medivacs in order to take down those Colossus. Currently 2 Colossus, and once Liquid Huck gets up to 3 Colossi, I think that is just going to be a complete game changer. Perhaps chrono boosting this robotics facility should be able to get out this one Colossus out much more quickly. There we go, getting another chrono boost, allowing for faster production, shaving off 10 seconds of game build time there. One observer still wandering around on this side of the map, able to keep track of this SCV, trying to take down that one SCV. SCV now down to 11 hit points there, as these Colossus are doing a great job using that range of 9 to deal damage. Marauders and Marines trying to use those stim packs, but realizing that those Colossus are able to just walk back up that ramp and then get out of sight range, as those Medivacs do not want to try to engage. Colossi now trying to move back. Will they be able to make it up the ramp? Yes, they will be able to, but a scanner sweep quickly being cast, and now those Colossi are a little bit further back, looking very, very strong. A 4th Colossi now, or another Colossi will be joining in this army in just a moment. And now Colossus, with an army of sentries, will be able to simply attack move as long as those sentries get down those force fields. Marauders and Marines have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, getting down a couple of those force fields in order to stop a Ghost from being able to escape the extended thermal lance range. And now another Marine quickly going to find itself, turning itself around, making sure to not walk into an army of Liquid Huck. Our Huck's army is just simply so strong right now, able to keep up constantly with production, getting another Colossus back over here. And even if Huck fights a war on 2 fronts, these Marauders and Marines will not be able to deal enough damage, especially as those sentries should be able to block off any real retreat. And now Medivacs getting picked off, as those Stalkers are able to move significantly faster than those Medivacs and those Marauders and those Marines. So those Medivacs were trying to heal up even further, unable to do anything. We do see an orbital command now in the air, but unable to land. And now I believe Liquid Huck is going to win this game, as these Colossi are just able to force Natada to constantly move back over here, and now constantly swiping and constantly attacking. In comes an EMP shockwave, but that is not going to be enough. Another Colossus walking back over here, and now Natada says what I expect to be game. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Natada and Huck here on Lost Temple.